Hi, I'm Meaghan Chitwood, and welcome to From Overlooked to Consistently Booked. I help sales professionals and business owners build strong, effective referral networks so they don't have to chase business because it comes to them. Each week, we break down what actually makes people refer you, trust you, and talk about you. This week, we're talking about why people don't refer you. It's not because they don't like you. They don't refer you because they don't remember you. And my guest is Hal Craig with Hav Pro. Welcome, Hal.
Hey, thank you.
So we have had interesting conversations in the past about how to stay visible and impressions and how you just got to stay top of mind. So tell everybody about what you do to help people stay top of mind when it comes to their businesses.
Okay. So it started with, it actually started just with promotional products, just cheap trinkets. And I noticed that a lot of my fellow business owners and friends, they would spend money on them and it would get tossed in the trash. And so it stemmed from, we went to an event where my daughters all went around the tables and they got all the junk and they put it in a bag and they came home and sat in the mudroom. And 2 weeks later, my wife, Meaghan, she said, do you think they would know if we threw it away? And we tossed it. And so all that stuff, I'm going, no one remembers what businesses those were. No one remembered what they spent. So it's like I created it to be intentional about when people are spending their money on items to have a purpose so that they can be remembered, so that those items can sit in their office or be used, and so we can be front of mind.
So most would call that promotional products, but you don't call it promotional products, as you saw that face that you just made.
Yeah.
You don't call it promotional products because that's not what it actually is.
Yeah, when I think of promotional products, there's tons of good promotional products out, and there's a need for that. Like, hey, I need a million keychains. I need a million, that's fine. I wanted to do more on the consulting side of like, hey, we're going to use promotional products. We may, or we're going to use stuff to get your name, get your image, get your stuff out so that you can be seen. And, it just happens to be used through promotional products. So, but I don't like to be known as the promotional products guy. I like to be known as the impression marketing guy or the person who helps give you good stuff guy.
Well, and you've got some good stories on how people have used things to get doors opened, retain customers, and things like that. Share a couple of the cool ideas that you've heard about to get people to get the door open.
Yeah, just with an item. So I think about, and I forget what book it was in, but they were talking about someone of medical sales or a pharmaceutical rep trying to get into CVS. And the buyer for CVS was very strict. Like, hey, we're going to, meet once or twice a year and everybody comes in, pitches your pitch, and then that's it. So this pharmaceutical rep understood that the person liked basketball and he was a shoe collector. And so he went and found like a $400 pair of Nikes. I don't know anything about shoes, but he sent one of the one shoe. He sent one shoe, a shoe, and in a box with a note that just said, hey, da-da-da-da-da, now that I have my foot in the door, I would love to connect with you to get the other foot.
Yeah.
And so that got him the meeting because the guy was like, shoe, I want the other shoe. And it was over $1 million deal, and it cost him $400 with some good ideas.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that mindset of like, and that's for the prospecting side. And then, there's also, taking care of your clients so they don't get forgotten about. But it's just utilizing gifts to make the people feel valued where they want to talk to you or remember you.
Because I think that is one of the biggest problems. I think about it like a real estate agent, right? How many years pass before you're buying your next house? So how do you stay top of mind within it, and how do you ultimately maintain that visibility, which really takes a lot of creativity. So we've talked about impressions, right? How many impressions do you have to have for your business name to really be out there? And you've got some wild facts to share with us.
Now, again, what's the statistic about statistics? Like 85% of statistics are made up 90% of the time. So, but one of the promotional branding and promotional products companies, ASI, they did a long-term study just to see what was working, what to answer that question. And they're saying for like a small to mid-size, and I know that can vary too, business, it's around 500,000 to 1 million impressions a year. So,
and define impressions.
I mean, it could be anything. It could be a billboard. You have your name on or face on a billboard. It can be in, I work with digital marketing too. So it could be a digital marketing, it could be this podcast. So when this podcast airs, people who see it, that's an impression. If they see, your brand, your name, it could be on a promotional product, a shirt, a hat. It's like we joke, like even coming here, it's why, so I wear sports coat? No, like I wanted to wear this because it's an impression. That's my name. And then, I wear this hat because this is a comfortable hat and it looks good. It's one of my clients. And I always try to wear it to give him impressions.
Yeah.
So
when I heard 500,000 impressions, I was like, holy cow, that many, that's a lot. But you broke it down to make me feel a little bit better that it's not that many. So you said pens, right?
Yeah, that was the example we used.
Yeah.
So like if it's a good pen.
Yes.
Right. And does everybody know what a good pen is? Like it's a good pen.
Yeah.
A good pen on average will get you around 3,000 impressions. And again, these aren't just made up numbers. These are numbers that they are tracking and testing to see, are they 100% accurate? No, but they're close.
Yeah.
So 3,000 if it's a good pen, because people will keep it and use it. And so if you've got 3,000, how many pens do you have to give out to hit that number? It's not many.
Yeah. I just recently got a pen from Dylan's Dogs for Diabetes, who's a member here in Huntsville. And I took a glance at the pen. I was like, oh, this isn't going to be a good pen. But then I popped it open and I saw that it had the little thing wrapped tip. And I'm like, oh, it's usually a better pen if it's got wrapped. And then I took it off and I wrote with it. I'm like, this is an amazing pen. I'm keeping it. And now it's my pen that I'm using everywhere I go. And Dylan's Dogs for Diabetes is going to be the thing that I think of every time I pull out the pen because it is a good pen.
Yeah, we did. I did an example in our BNI group one time where I just said, raise your hand if you are using right now a Heights Title pen or a Car Realty pen, because they give out really good pens. And it was like 70% of the group had one. It was such a great example because I'm like, see, if you use a good pen, people will use it. And so again, that's 3,000. So you just most people aren't intentional with it, right? So like we talked about shirts. They'll just buy, I need to buy some T-shirts. Okay, so they'll buy a T-shirt. How much is that? It's $6 for a Hanes beefy tee, or something. And they buy it. Well, how many times have you gotten a free shirt and it's uncomfortable because it's 100% cotton? And where does it go? It either stays in the drawer or it gets donated. So you're not getting those impressions. So I tell people, I'm like, spend a little extra money, get a good T-shirt, like, tri-blend, CVC, and then that way and make a good design too. Don't make it look dumb. And then that way people will actively wear it, which gets you those impressions you want.
So other businesses, so let's go away from pens and kind of your normal things. Okay. What are some other like really unique ideas that you have shared with businesses to help them stay top of mind?
Well, just from an item purpose, like I had a friend of mine actually in our group too. He was like, hey, we have the Home and Garden Show. There's going to be about, I think he said 15,000 people that go through over 3 days. He goes, I have $1,000 budget. What do you suggest that I can be remembered and that people will know by? And if you look at the math, that's not a lot. You're either having to buy something junky, like really like small that people are just going to grab and throw away, like my kids. So what we ended up doing was we did a turtle box speaker. I don't know if you've seen those. It's kind of like the new Yeti. So like where Yetis became popular and they put Yeti on. I think turtle box is going to be that kind of new trend. But it's an indestructible speaker that's waterproof and it's an amazing speaker. But they're but put his brand on it, put his logo. He's all in $500-$600. He put it out there with, hey, when was the last time you had your windows replaced, or when was that? And you can win this. So for 3 days, he's getting a lead list. The speaker's blaring, and then someone wins it. And guess what? Now they're going to be using that speaker with his logo, his brand, out and about. So he spent less than the money he needed to, got more visibility, and now he has continual use of it. So
yeah, I love how you just work with other business owners to help them ultimately stay visible, because visibility is the one thing that what I say is if you're not visible at the point in time that somebody needs your product or service, then you're not going to get the referral. You're not going to get the business.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I think of service industries, right? So, because we get asked all the time, how can you promote them? How do you ever, so heating and air companies, electricians, plumbing. So normally when something happens, like if you were to go home after this and all of a sudden your pipes burst, you may have a plumber that you call on hand, but most people will just be like, plumber near me or plumber, and they're Googling it up. But so it's like, but people are advertising, the plumbers are advertising. Why don't we think of that plumber immediately right then and there? It's because they're not front of mind, right? So that's where it's important for them to use social media to get those impressions where people are constantly seeing them, or, stickers, you see a lot of times people put stickers on, they put on the water heater, but I don't ever see my water heater. Yeah. Put it somewhere different. Get a magnet that has measurements and useful things in the kitchen where it's like constantly, you're looking at it. So you think of it when you need it.
Yeah. We had an electrician, didn't even mention it to us, but put a magnet of his contact information on our breaker box. Because usually you go to the breaker box, try and flip it, right? And it's like, this isn't working. And boom, his phone number was right there. And when I saw it, because I was flipping the breaker, I was like, that's brilliant.
Smart.
It's really smart.
Yeah.
You're not going to look at that's one where it actually does work, because you're probably trying to at least take a glance at it beforehand.
Yeah. You just want to be like where they think of you when the time comes for that to happen. Yeah. Because it's usually reactive.
Yeah. And and the timing is what ultimately has to be impeccable. Well, I am looking forward to talking on our next episode about how you can use these tools to also retain your customers as well, because we've got another fun fact to talk about in terms of how much should you be spending on your existing customers to thank them as well. So referrals don't come from chasing, they come from connection. When you build the right network, business follows. So next week, we're going to talk about how you can use some of these techniques of visibility to stay top of mind with your existing customers so that you can always retain them. If this was helpful, subscribe for more conversations like this. And if you're ready to grow through referrals, you can check out a BNI chapter near you by going to bni.com. See you next time.